Welcome back to the deep dive. Have you ever wondered why some presentations just land with a thud?
Yeah.
While others, they spark something, they stick with you for weeks?
Absolutely.
Today, we're really cracking open our sources on the art of unforgettable public speaking. We want to pinpoint those skills,
Yeah.
the ones that make your message not just heard, but really, truly ingrained.
And right off the bat, our sources they dismantle that huge myth
Which one's that?
that great speakers are just born that way. It's simply not true.
Okay.
What they really emphasize is this idea of deliberate practice.
Deliberate practice, so not just running through it.
No, it's more focused. It's about picking out one specific weakness. Maybe it's filler words like or ah.
Right. Or looking down too much.
Exactly. Or maybe looking at your notes constantly.
Yeah.
And you surgically isolate that one thing.
Okay.
And you work on only that until it gets better.
Yeah.
They argue that this focused, intentional work, that's where the real mastery comes from.
Yeah.
It's way beyond just natural charisma.
Okay, so that's the mindset shift. If we accept it's learnable, where do we actually start building? How do we make a talk unforgettable?
Well, the sources really hammer this home. It all starts with a blueprint.
A blueprint, okay.
A structure. And it's surprisingly simple, but it acts like the backbone.
Right, the framework. Can you break that down for us?
Absolutely. It's essentially a three-part structure. Super powerful.
3 parts, got it.
You kick things off with an engaging hook.
Like a question or a story.
Yeah, or maybe a surprising statistic, something that grabs attention right away.
Okay, hook first, then what?
Then the core content. And here, our sources strongly push the rule of 3.
Rule of 3, so keep it concise.
Exactly. Limit your key points to just 2 or 3. And they stress this isn't about dumbing it down.
No,
it's about respecting, cognitive load, helping your audience actually remember the core message without getting overwhelmed.
that makes sense. Hook, 2 or 3 points, and the end.
Yep. A memorable summary, but not just repeating yourself.
Oh.
Reinforce the central idea. And ideally, give a clear call to action, or maybe leave them with a provocative thought.
Okay, structure makes sense. But, even the best plan can fall flat if the delivery isn't there.
Oh, absolutely.
Body language comes to mind immediately for me. What did the sources say about that silent communication?
It's fascinating, actually, how much nonverbal stuff resonates. Our sources get into the psychology of it, how we perceive speakers. They really stress making focused eye contact.
Not just staring blankly.
No, definitely not. They call it scanning strategically, making brief individual connections around the room.
Ah, okay.
And open postures are key too. Avoid crossing your arms, or hiding behind the lectern.
Signals confidence.
Confidence, approachability, yeah. And then there's vocal variety. Hugely important.
Not just being loud.
No, it's about tone, yes, but also strategic pacing, using pauses intentionally.
Pauses can be powerful.
Incredibly. They increase retention, make words carry more weight. I mean, think about the last conference you went to. Who do you actually remember? The person reading from their notes, or the one who seemed to, own the stage?
Yeah, definitely the second one.
Right. The sources really underscore that. Nonverbal cues often shout louder than the actual words.
Right, okay. But for me, and I bet for a lot of listeners, the biggest hurdle is just nerves. Those pre-talk jitters.
The classic fear.
Our sources dive into that, right? Not just coping, but maybe even using that energy.
Yeah. This part is genuinely game-changing.
Really?
Our sources confirm it. Even the most seasoned pros feel fear. Everyone does.
Okay, that's comforting.
The key insight is reappraisal. Don't try to squash the fear.
So what do you do?
You reinterpret it. Reframe that adrenaline rush as excitement or energy you can use.
Ah, interesting. Any practical tips?
Oh, yeah. Deep breathing, but specifically diaphragmatic breathing. It calms your physiology right down.
Okay, deep belly breaths.
And crucially, process visualization. It's not just picturing success.
No.
It's mentally walking through each step of your talk, even picturing potential slip-ups and how you'll smoothly recover.
Huh. Like planning for mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And rehearsing out loud. Seems basic, but doing it to a mirror, or better yet, a friend. It builds muscle memory, makes it feel less like a performance, more like just talking.
So you've got the structure, you've worked on delivery, you've channeled your nerves. What about the audience themselves?
Ah, yes. Critical piece.
Our sources really emphasize knowing your audience, right? Like, it's non-negotiable.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yes.
It's absolutely fundamental.
It's-
Deep audience understanding.
Why is it so important?
Because the goal isn't just to impress them with how smart you are.
Right.
It's to connect on a human level. And that means going beyond just like age or job title.
So what then?
Creating what some call audience empathy maps. Really understanding their world.
Their world, like their problems.
Their problems, their hope, what they already know about your topic, even the kind of language they use, their dialects.
Okay, so tailoring is key.
Massively. Using examples they get immediately. Addressing their concerns. That's what makes your message feel relevant, sticky.
So it's about meeting them where they are.
Exactly. Whether it's a boardroom or college lecture hall. Speak their language.
So pulling this all together, what's the big takeaway? What does it all mean?
Well, ultimately, what the sources seem to reveal is that this whole quest, it isn't really about achieving some kind of flawless perfection.
Yeah.
No, it's much more about authenticity, being real.
So being perfect isn't the goal.
In fact, some studies they mention show audiences often connect more deeply with speakers who show a bit of genuine vulnerability.
You mean like admitting they're nervous or making a small mistake?
Yeah, exactly. A small stumble, as long as you recover gracefully, it can actually build trust faster. Makes you seem human.
Right. Relatable. So it's about connection over perfection.
Which I think raises a really important final question for you, the listener, to chew on. How can you figure out that single most important idea? The one nugget you really want your audience to walk away with.
Before you even start writing.
Exactly. Before you craft anything. What's the core takeaway that could actually shift perspective or spark action? Identifying that first might change everything.